After high school, I had so many dreams. I wanted to move out, get my own place, and start a real career. Freedom was all I thought about. My sibling, Alex, always seemed to be around, quiet, but always there. They would nod and smile when I talked about my plans, but sometimes their eyes held a look I couldn't quite place. I didn't think much of it then. I was too busy planning my escape from our childhood home, full of hope for a new beginning. My first big chance came with a promising job interview. I felt so good about it, truly. I pictured myself in that office, earning my own money, but the offer never came. A week later, I got a polite rejection letter. My heart sank. I felt a deep sting of incompetence. Alex found me looking at the letter. They put an arm around me, murmuring comforting words, saying it wasn't meant to be. Their comfort felt hollow somehow, but I pushed that thought away. Next, I focused on finding an apartment. I filled out so many applications, called so many landlords. Each time, it felt like I was so close. Then, mysteriously, the applications would be rejected or the landlords would simply stop returning my calls. It was baffling. My frustration grew with each failure. Alex would always be there, suggesting I just stay home, saying it was too expensive out there anyway. It was easier to just agree. Then there was Mark. He was kind and we had a real connection. I finally felt like I was building a life outside of this house. We talked about a future together, but suddenly he pulled away. His calls stopped. His texts became brief. He just vanished from my life without a real explanation. I was heartbroken and confused, not understanding what went wrong. Alex offered me tea and listened, but I never saw genuine sadness in their eyes. Years passed, filled with these small, crushing defeats. My confidence slowly eroded. Every attempt to stand on my own 2 feet ended in failure. I started to believe I wasn't capable, that something was wrong with me. Financially, I was stuck. I relied more and more on my family, which meant more and more on Alex. The idea of independence felt like a distant, impossible dream. I felt trapped, my spirit slowly draining away. One afternoon, I was walking past Alex's room when I heard them on the phone. Their voice was low, almost a whisper. I caught a few words. The landlord said no good. She'll never know. My blood ran cold. It was just a fleeting moment, but it didn't sound right. The words echoed in my mind. A tiny, unsettling seed of doubt about my sibling, someone I trusted, began to sprout. That night, I couldn't sleep. The words I'd overheard played over and over. I started thinking about all the bad luck I'd had. I pulled out old files, old emails, old application forms. I cross-referenced dates, checked details. A disturbing pattern began to emerge. Alex was always there, always knew about my plans, always had an alibi, but their presence often coincided with my setbacks. The coincidences were too many to ignore. I dug deeper. I found a hidden folder on the family computer. Inside, I saw it. Altered emails, fake references sent to employers, even an email confirming Alex had intercepted mail from Mark. It was all there, undeniable proof. My own sibling, the one I shared a childhood with, had systematically sabotaged my life. The realization hit me like a physical blow. My stomach churned with a sickening mix of shock and utter betrayal. I confronted Alex that evening. I held up the evidence, my hands shaking. They tried to gaslight me at first, saying I was imagining things, that I was crazy. But I stood my ground. My voice was steady, even though my heart pounded. Finally, their facade cracked. They confessed, their voice flat, cold. It was jealousy, they said, a need for control. And yes, they admitted they benefited from my staying here. The truth was worse than any lie. The confession left me shattered. My entire life had been a lie, a carefully constructed prison built by my own flesh and blood. The years of lost opportunities, the emotional torment, it all crashed down on me. But through the devastation, a new feeling emerged. A cold, steely resolve. I would not just escape. I would reclaim every single lost opportunity. And Alex, they would pay for every single moment of my suffering. My life was stolen, and I would take it back with interest.